Hey, welcome back to my channel. For this video, you're gonna spend the weekend with me. The weekdays are pretty jam-packed with our school schedule and then our extracurricular. I usually get my filming in on the weekends, which is when I love to do my self-care routines, switch things up, do my at-home workouts, also do my chores and projects for around the house. This week, I really wanted to do a complete reset of the front porch. I try to do this twice a year at least, and it's much more in-depth than superficial cleaning. Moving everything, deep cleaning, refilling all of the bird feeders, trimming the plants. So I'm going to be sharing that in today's video, and it was just a lovely weekend at home, very simple. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The weekends have been all about the protein pancakes and waffles, as I have been sharing on my channel. I made banana pancakes or waffles this past week. Similar recipe to the pumpkin waffles that I made in my last video. I will put the ingredients in the description box, but it's basically the same recipe, except instead of pumpkin, I'm switching out for smashed banana, and then I'm putting caramelized banana on top. Super, super yummy. It's basically just butter and banana, so I don't put any sugar in there, although you could if you want, but the maple syrup and a little bit of powdered sugar on top is perfect. So I had those for breakfast because we've had a real hankering for the protein pancakes and waffles recently. I have a lot that I want to accomplish today, so I want to make sure I'm fueling my body and I have the energy to get all of my goals for the weekend done. I'm going to start with a workout because I find workouts to be very energizing, especially at this stage where I've been working out a lot more consistently. I feel a lot stronger and a lot more energized when I exercise. So if we're not going to the gym, I'm going to do an at-home workout. I'm using these stacked weights, which are really cool. The company Stack sent me the mat and the weights. The mat is collapsible, so it's really cool. I love that mat. And then the weights, you can remove them, and they could be 6 pounds, 2 pounds, so they're adjustable. I'm going to do, I also have weights around my ankles, and I'm just going to do some Pilates movements for strengthening my core. I'm pretty happy with how strong I've become with my core and my arms. So the next 6 months, I'm going to be doing core and arm workouts still, but I'm actually going to really focus in, especially at the gym, since I can do back squats and work with heavier weights on my legs. So I've definitely worked out my arms and abs a lot, but my legs I've always been not as consistent with. And so I'm really going into the next 6 months focused on legs and really making sure to hit those leg workouts. Speaking of upper body workouts, the last 6 months I have been really trying to work on my pull-ups. And I have been wanting a Swedish ladder for so long. If you don't know what it is, it's basically a wooden exercise ladder. You can do all sorts of different workouts with it. After searching on Instagram for a while, I finally found a store called Clever Wood Store. They have Swedish ladders. I feel like for the most reasonable price point that I found looking for them, but I have been wanting one for so long, so I finally got one. Byron put it together for me on our wall, and not only have I been using it consistently, my kids have been using it. It's adjustable, so you can move it. You can do all sorts of different workouts, whether it's dips or pull-ups. You can also do workouts like working on handstands, assisted workouts, so I'll share more in the future as I use it more, but we just put it up and got it, and I already knew I wanted it for some of my upper body workouts, specifically working on pull-ups, because 6 months ago I couldn't even do one pull-up. So I started with hanging. I did negative chin-ups and pull-ups until I could get my first chin-up. Then I got to 5. I did like a pyramid set. You could look it up on Google, but basically you start with 1 and then try to do 2 and then try to do 3, take a break, try to do it again. And then I finally was able to get a traditional pull-up, and I've just gotten stronger from there. So today I am doing an upper body workout. I did do walking lunges. I just like to go outside and do walking lunges because those really firm my legs. But like I said, I'm going to be working on building stronger legs for the next 6 months. And I'll try to capture that. I try not to film too much at the gym, although we actually film for the gym. We do a lot of content, and so everybody knows and they're comfortable being on camera and everything. I don't know, when I film for my channel and I'm not filming for the gym, I always feel bad. I should just ask everybody and make sure they're okay with being on YouTube, but I'll try to share with you what I'm doing. All right, so moving on. Let's start with the front porch. All over the summer, all of this stuff just kind of ended up under a day bed on the front porch. So it was just fishing stuff from when we went to the lake. And it just kind of ended up there in addition to some other random things. So I'm pulling out the daybed, I'm cleaning all of that out, I'm throwing away anything that needs to be thrown away. I'm sweeping, like look at everything that got behind there. So it just was affecting how clean and organized it looked on the front porch. We spent a good portion of the summer cleaning out the garage and our shack and organizing everything. Because of that, everything has a spot now. So the fishing items that were kind of left in a random spot, they now have a particular spot in the garage where we can organize them. So on a beautiful day and weekend like this, where the kids love to be outside playing, we try to get all of our outdoor chores done. So anything that needs to be put in the garage, I'm going to put in the garage. The umbrella was completely trashed, so I threw it away. And then everything else I put away. Next, I'm going to move everything so that I can wash the front porch and also the walls. So I like to do this twice a year, usually in the fall and in the spring, or as needed. So if it's like looking dirty and gross. Also, we feed the birds, so there can be, bird droppings and things like that. So just, I like to hose it down. But we're moving all of the rocking chairs or everything from one side of the porch to the other. Rather than taking everything down the stairs and putting it on the grass, I'm just going to do one side at a time. So moving the pumpkins so I can wash the steps. And this just kind of cleans it off really nicely. I even use a push broom to scrub it so it's nice and clean. And it really does make a difference to just wash the sides of the walls. You can see all the dust and dirt from the previous season. And just to keep it nice and clean. I mean, the porch is one of my favorite spots. It's an extension of our home for sure. So I love to keep it clean and organized and nice and cozy, especially in the fall. We spend a lot of time outside. It's just beautiful weather. So I just like to take the hose and clean off the front porch. So that's what I'm going to do. So for the summer and fall months, we have our flat top out on the front porch so that we can do smash burgers and different things when we have friends over. So I'm just taking a little bit of mineral oil and just cleaning that off. So we're moving everything back to its spot. We have the animal feed for the dog, cat, and the birds. We have the chicken feed over by the chicken coop, but for the birds that we feed for the front porch, we have their seeds and their feed right here on the front porch. We have a dog bed, we have our day bed. So I'm not going to put the dog bed down until it's completely dry, of course, but I will put everything back in its spot, nice and organized, wipe anything down that needs to be wiped down. And then I'm going to change out the porch lights. We had one light that went out, so whenever I change the porch lights, I try to do both at once. That way they do go out around the same time, but I try to focus on that when I do my seasonal turnover. I will do this again after the winter and into the spring, or depending on how long the bulbs last. But I am going to switch out the light bulbs. And then we're also switching out the light bulbs for the side. So we have the side lights going up the driveway and the other side of our house too, on the other side of our property. And then I'm going to wipe it down as well as wiping down the front door. Now, I do this every few days, but I clean out the Hummingbird Feeder. I also put fresh seed out for the birds, like the cardinals and the tufted titmouse, and we also have the chickadees. So I love to do that. And since I'm putting fresh nectar in there every few days, sugar water can go bad very quickly. It can get moldy, especially when it's warm outside. It's very important to keep it very clean it out consistently. Now, the recommended ratio for hummingbird food is 1 part white granulated sugar to 4 parts water. So to make it, you can either boil water and dissolve the sugar completely and then let the mixture cool before filling your feeder. Do not add any red dye or honey or artificial sweeteners, and then just clean it and change the nectar every few days. We get our bird feed from Tractor Supply, and again, we have everything, the feed in these galvanized containers. I also have a galvanized bucket, so I don't make a complete mess when I am filling up the bird feeder, but I fill it up all the way to the top, and they definitely go through it pretty quickly, but it means that I get to see all the beautiful birds right outside of my window and on the front porch. They're really friendly. I'm going to put out some mums and the pumpkins and just some really simple fall decor. I'm going to put the pumpkins back on the steps. I'm doing every other step with a pumpkin. I'm going to add some faux candles here in this week just to kind of make it a little fun for the season. And then I'm going to move on to my next task. I'm going to trim the front porch garden. It's gotten a little out of control, so I'm starting first with just trimming back the roses. These roses grow up along the staircase, and so I'm just trimming this back before the winter season. I'm going to let the hydrangeas be. I'm going to pull the hollyhocks since we're not going to have any more hollyhocks at this point. We're probably going to have a freeze pretty soon here, so we definitely won't have another bloom. I'm going to pull those. I'm going to pull a bunch of weeds, just clean everything off. Byron came and helped me because the weeds were just out of control. So we do have to do this pretty consistently just to keep it nice and clean in this area. We also put a layer of straw down. It helps keep the weed pressure down. Just makes the area look a lot more clean. You could do mulch. There's other things that you could do, but straw is pretty accessible, it's affordable, and we usually have it on hand, so we go for that typically. So we're gonna pick all of the weeds, clean everything up, and then put a layer of straw down. I should note, and I will talk about this more during the spring season, since we cleaned out the garage, we also have spots for all of our gardening supplies, and it's important to make sure everything is sharpened and kept in good condition so that when you're ready to use it, it's not dull and you're just being safe when it comes to cleaning up your garden. So this is a good time to clean up your front porch garden or areas of your property before, the freeze sets in and before it starts to get really cold, which will happen here in the next, 4 to 5 weeks. So just one of the things on our to-do list for around the house before the winter season hits. Usually if Byron's going to be making dinner, I am doing the indoor cleaning. So while he's cooking, I am catching up on laundry. I'm usually vacuuming around the house. I'm resetting the inside of the house just so it's nice and clean and cozy for when dinner's done. We do really try to work a tag team around the house. He's a fantastic cook. So very, very thankful for when he cooks because it's always amazing. He has this recipe on his channel. If you don't already know, my husband has a YouTube channel as well with cooking videos. Tonight he is making fish and chips. It was absolutely amazing. After dinner, we're going to take the dogs for a walk. The fall in Tennessee is absolutely spectacular weather-wise. Our dog Ozzy, he's finally on a medication that's making him feel better. He's just been having hip issues, and so he hasn't been as mobile, but now he's feeling better, and so we're taking him for just slow walks to try to gain his strength back so that we can get him back to being as healthy as possible. And we're so thankful that he's feeling so much better and feeling more mobile, and he's on a good routine now. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching my channel, and I'll see you very soon in my next video.